Here's the other box of plugs, jacks, and switches. I'm using the Kodak ZE-1, so I got to remember not to get closer than 10 inches or it just will not be in focus. Now, these are Molex. I inadvertently called these Molex, but that could be Molex, I don't know, but these are the plugs that I'm talking about, but they only have 4 contacts in them, so I'm going to go digging through here and see if I can get one that has more. Could use an 8-pin, well this is an 8-pin, but I can find an 8-pin here and see what I can come up with. Well, I found what I call the Molex. I know these aren't Molex. I'm going to say Canon connectors, but I used to know what the hell they're called. I should know. I love working with these. These are nice connectors. These are inline connectors. I was kind of hoping for a chassis mount, but you know what? I can have the female socket coming out of the back of Dorkel, and it can be put back in, and then the remote control cord can go in. This is 4, 8, 10 connectors. If I can't do it with 10 connectors, I can't do it at all. An extra chassis mount fuse holder. I might need an extra switch. Now, things have not changed. There's just no place to bring the stuff, and can't put any more in my shed. Little items here and there, but so all this is going to get trashed. Movie projectors. Another movie projector down there. Get another one in here. They're all auto threading. Most of them are silent. That's sound, but they chew up the films because of automatic threading. Now, if you've been watching some of my earlier videos, you've seen this. If not, look back on the videos and you'll see. This is a realistic 10 watt per channel amplifier, but it's 110 volts. Naturally, you can convert it to 12, but you won't get the power out of it. This was used in my automatic slide, and I went through all this before. Looking back on my old videos, you'll see the description and everything I talked about it. I used to put on slideshows for the clubs. There's like the CB clubs and stuff that I was in, but vacation travels and stuff like that I used to make stories out of. And what it is I'd have a narration that I could do through here and adjust the volumes, and I also had a cassette which already had the recording, a stereo cassette. The left channel was parallel to the amplifier, came out both speakers, and the speaker system's down here, and went under this movie screen. And what this is, there was a pulse on the right channel and was rectified and operated a relay, which in turn changed the slide on the slide projector by way of a little tone which I used to record on the right channel. So all I had to do was put the cassette in, start the slide projector, and I could sit back and I didn't have to do anything. And I could narrate it or add commentary by way of this microphone if I wanted to, when I had a mixing, and you'll see all that here. So anyways, I can't use this amplifier in Uncle Dorkel because, like I say, it's quite large for one thing. Comes all the way out to here. It's I don't know what it is. I'm going to give you the model number in a minute here. It's a realistic SA-175B. I got this in the early 70s. Back when Radio Shack used to have bargain tables and stuff that needed fixing. The power transformer was burned out in this. I got this real cheap. And I put a universal in there, but the output voltage were a little low, so I didn't get the full wattage out of each channel, but it didn't matter because it had plenty of power and it served my purpose well. But I can't use this in that because it's not only too big. Even if I take out the transformer naturally and run it on 12 volts, so 12 volts is too low to operate this, so I don't need an amplifier this powerful for that ventriloquist figure. This was the speaker system I designed and built, and like I say, this is all on an earlier video, probably 2009, maybe 2008, who knows. And it had a 4-inch woofer from Radio Shack on each side, and what I call the Molex connector here. Connect in and could take out the back. This is all acoustic suspension. I went through a lot of trouble building this. I mean, the speaker system used to sit underneath the movie screen, and it had a length of wire that would connect to this amplifier, and I'll show you the back of this amplifier here. Now, like I say, I've shown this before. The speaker system would plug into here, your accessories would go into here, and they'd be controlled on the front panel, on, off, and so forth. The amplifier input was here. In other words, the cassette player that had the tone in the right channel and the narration on the left channel would go there. 2 fuses, one for the amp. I can't read that. My eyes are no good. Well, anyways, this was all serviceable. I could get in here quite easily. Give you a little better view of the front. If I wanted to record, I'd generate the tone for the right channel. If I was making up a slideshow, I would be narrating and recording on the cassette by way of this microphone here. And each time the slide was going to change, I'd push this and it'd put a little tone, beep, on the right channel. Unfortunately, there was a little crosstalk, and you can very faintly hear the tone on the narrated track, which was the left side, left channel. So anyways, I'd flip, and when I'm ready to play it, I just put it over here, and then, you know, I'd set my switches to whatever position necessary. I had the projector on-off switch here, the tape on-off switch here, amp on and off switch here. Even though this had an on-off switch on here, I controlled everything from here. Now I can generate a pulse here, or I had another button that can generate a pulse here. Actually, no, that's not a button. Geez, what's the matter with me anyways? That's an LED. So when I push it, when I'm recording, you don't hear the pulse going into the cassette. So this light would tell me, it would light up and tell me that it was generating the pulse, and also how long to keep it on. It would simply mean that I'd go beep like that. So I'd actually, everything would be by guess. So I'd estimate that the sound would, pulse would be on for probably maybe a half a second, 3/4, maybe a full second at the very most. This here was an aluminum bottom that slid in to a stand that I built, so it would sit like this, and I could sit in a chair and operate the whole thing. This whole thing I don't use anymore, and I hate to see it get thrown out, but I'm not shipping it. If somebody local wants it, they're more than welcome to take this, the amplifier, and you're probably wondering what this is. I'll show you. If you remember, those of you who are into old films and stuff, the Kodak Ectosound 245 sound movie projector, Super 8mm. I designed and built this to hold that projector, and this thing is heavy. This is out of 1/2-inch plywood. All the accessories go in here. So that projector projected out the back end and out the front end. And it's made to sit on a bookcase. That's what I used to have in my bedroom. So I'd have a projecting screen on the bedroom wall. I still got it. And would do all my editing there. So I built all this, designed all this, so I could carry the projector to my destination. I'll tell you, I went to a lot of trouble to put shows on and stuff for people back in the early 70s. At the moment, I don't know where the stand is to this. I vaguely remember scrapping it because years ago, when I got out of CB, I was only in it for a couple of years. I was originally in it back in 1963. Back when you needed a license. Well, you did at 1973 also, but I got out of it because it got disgusting. Back in 1963, CB was civilized. 1973, it became a bunch of animals. So I got out of it, and I no longer associated with the crowds that I used to put these shows on. And I used to put the shows on for people who were interested in when I went on vacation, like Valley Forge, Gettysburg, the Amish country, the Wheeling Jamboree, Fort Ligonier, you name it. Back in my early days, back in the early 70s to 1978, I used to put these shows on, and people liked it. But after a while, people got tired of them, even though I put a different one on every year, and I got discouraged, and I got out of it. So when I make things just like the Uncle Dorkle project, people like it, fine, but if they don't, I get discouraged and give it up. But I had tremendous eyesight back then. I never needed reading glasses when I built these things. Anyways, the original purpose of this video, the reason for coming up here is not for this, but for finding a plug and receptacle for the remote control on Uncle Dorkle. Here is an amplifier from a cassette deck, but it's already been stripped, and there's too many damn wires, and it's too small for me to work on. This would be a perfect amplifier maybe for it, but the tone controls and the volume controls are already out of it, and it's head level input, so I would have to pat it down, and I don't have the little parts, capacitors and resistors anymore. That stuff's all put away. A lot of it's been given away, and a lot of it's been sold, so we're just taking, stick it up here with everything else. So I come up here every once in a while and go through it, different things. There's Lee Moore, the coffee drinker Nighthawk. I got that from him when I used to listen to Wheeling Jamboree. I should take that down and save it. Lee Moore, the coffee drinker Nighthawk. There's a calendar girl here that I say it's Bill's girl. That goes back to the late 60s. There's my, and I showed you these on video, there's my Wurlitzer Model 500 1938 78 RPM jukebox that I sold many years ago. I took down the Lee Moore pictures here. Had that since 1962. I always like to date things as to when I got them. So I'm going to take and put that in a safe place. We're not going to stick that out in the shed. Yeah, I used to listen to Lee Moore for many, many years on the radio. Lee Moore, the coffee drinking Nighthawk. Here is a box of old bus fuses, BUSS, ABS4. They're fat and don't fit nicely in a standard 3AG fuse holder. You can get them in, but they're kind of thick. But you know, these are things that I got on closeout sales. I don't even know where the heck I got them. I might have even gotten them from places like Polypacks, Olson Electronics, back in the old days. Can't really use them for anything that I know of. I showed you this before in one of my earlier videos, but for those of you who are new to my channel, and don't want to go through all the videos, and I can't blame you, I guess. This is a fuel pump from my 1950 Studebaker Champion. I just thought I'd hang on to it. This is a heater core from the 1950 Studebaker Champion, and the heater cores in the Studebakers of that vintage were under the passenger seat. So before I junked the car, I pulled it out. Thought maybe I might have a use for it, and who knows, to this day, it might still be good. It's been sitting up here for well over 40 years. Here is out of transistor radios and amplifiers, the little amplifiers used to get out of little tape recorders. I used to make intercoms. It looks sad now, all the tape disintegrated. But I had an intercom here, and I can communicate with my mom when I was living at home downstairs. If she needed something, she'd holler up to me, come on down, I need you to go to the store, or this, that, or whatever. Well, there was one downstairs and there was one up here, and you had to push the talk button on it, made out of cigar boxes.